Hi, my name is Ali. Some of you guys know me, Sean, Spurs Video Podcast. I'm going to talk about a few things. First of all, the term Yid. Now, I refer to ourselves as Yid Army. Yeah, and I remember, I've sung along saying Jermaine Defoe, he's a Yiddo, Jermaine Defoe. And the whole Yid thing came about because I'm thinking a lot of Spurs fans got tired of, oh, Spurs are on the way to Auschwitz, Hitler's on the gas again, as West Ham fans chanted quite a lot last year, and which for the HDFA did nothing. Or the hissing, and again, Chelsea fans. And we got tired of it, so we started, sort of not adopt it as a badge of honour. Even though, because we are a club that has got historically Jewish roots. Stamford Hill is about what, all of 2 miles away. So yeah, we are a club with Jewish roots. But here's the thing, I'm thinking Stamford Hill, alright, it's nearer to Tottenham than it is, to the Arsenal Stadium, but it's not that a million miles away. I mean, let's face it, Manor House, that's, what, about 2 stops away from Arsenal? Yeah, Finsbury Park, so let's face it, that's also Arsenal territory, if you want to think about it that way. So, the way I see it, it can go either way. So, both clubs have got Jewish roots. But what really annoys me is David Baddiel. Chelsea fans are known for, let's face it, they're not really the most cultured fans, but some of the vitriol they come up with, it's disgusting at times. And what I found really, really bad was the fact that David Baddiel, if those younger fans who might not know who he is, David Baddiel, about 20 odd years ago, was in a show called The Mary Whitehouse Experience, and he was funny. Him, Steve Punt, Hugh Dennis, Rob Newman, who's now writing books, I think. They did some sketches, and they were quite funny actually. I remember I remember it was like, oh, that's you, that is. And the two guys had this, they basically salt the crap of each other, and that was funny. Then he went to Fantasy Football League, which, really brought, for me anyway, which brought Frank Skinner into my world, and I thought he was very, very funny. But, he would do loads of jokes that mocked, Spurs for being Jewish, apparently. There was one thing, was that Neil Ruddock went, and Gary Lineker went, and apparently that is a cultural Jewish thing. So, you know what? But he's alright for him doing it because he's making money, he's getting jokes. It's alright for you to make jokes about Tottenham and their Jewish, Jewish identity, Jewish part of identity. But, oh, how about this? How about, oh, you're not gonna do that whole tired Tottenham fans Jewish Volvo joke. Because, oh no, we're not gonna do that. And who is dressed up as an Orthodox Jew in a Volvo asking, can you show me the way to Tottenham? Thank you. And he's driving. It's just, yeah. It's alright when you do it. Obviously, it's alright when you do it. By the way, this is cultural Jewish? I don't know. Am I mocking the Jewish people by doing this? All I know is you are full of shit. Okay? And I think you should put your own Chelsea's house in order. Because it's funny how you never ever say, by the way, Chelsea fans did that and I thought that was wrong and I spoke out against it. Did you ever do that? No, I don't think you did. So, I'm sorry. Look, I have no problem with, Arsenal fans or whatever, West Ham fans, because they'll admit to being, they'll happily say, Yid, whatever, do that. But it's the hypocrisy. That is the worst crime. And I think, David Baddiel, I'm sorry, I think you're a hypocrite. If you want to see me, here, take this up. That's all I got. The Norwich game tomorrow, that'll be interesting. They are, they're a team that last year we struggled to beat. It was a wonder goal from Gareth Bale. And the people forget, Moussa Nabella scored his first goal against, I think his only league goal against Norwich. And beautiful the way he did it, and he sadly never really done that kind of, that incredible scoring goals like that. I haven't seen him do that since really. But they scored a last minute equaliser. Then we went to Carrow Road. It was a really very windy day, and we got a last minute, not a last minute, but an incredible equaliser from Gareth Bale. And that for me kind of, Gareth Bale was already scoring, but that for me started that incredible run of form that he had, where he was just scoring goals for fun. It seemed. I don't know much about their team. I do remember, obviously, a very sad game when I think we saw that Ledley King really come to the end of his career because he just couldn't maintain it. I mean, Grant Holt, who wasn't the fastest, kind of, I don't want to say owned him, but just physically dominated against him. And this is a guy, that Thierry Henry described as being, I don't know, what did Thierry Henry say? He was the only defender who played against me that didn't need to feel the need to kick me. You know, one of the greatest defenders ever. And that was really sad seeing that. And Grant Holt, who I remember that he said, like, apparently about 6 months later, 3 months later, he put in for a transfer request. I want to go to a big team. I think he's gone to, I don't know, some championship team. So he never really progressed further. So, and they've replaced him now. They've got a guy called Van Wolfswinkel. Is that his name? From Holland, via Portugal. Good player. Scored a goal every 2 games in Portugal. I think he scored on his debut against Norwich, for Norwich against Everton. So you'll have to acclimatise, as do quite a few of our players, to the Premier League. But he's a threat. They've got another player, Johan Elmander, who played for Bolton. I think probably scored a few goals against us because Bolton were our other bogey team, it seemed. But for me, they're a threat without a doubt. We underestimate them at our peril. That being said, we have to win home games against teams like Norwich if we have any chance of, it was those drop points, the ones against Norwich, the ones against West Brom, Fulham, Wigan. That's what really cost us our Champions League chances last year. That's not about it. So until the lineup against Norwich City tomorrow, one person that won't be there will be David Baddiel. Apparently he's back in Togo, but he will be training with the development squad when he comes back up. He's had very little fitness. His fitness is probably not there at all. Is he freezing him out? I don't know. ABB has got form for this. Obviously with Alex and with Anelka at Chelsea. And I must admit, a lot of Spurs fans are divided. I think Addy, when everything's going right, I mean, his power, he's got skill, he's almost unplayable at times. But when he's on his game, but he was so off form last season. Obviously, the injuries, the Akon coming back late, and that's inexcusable. And that was just an absolute debacle for us, and that was just ridiculous. And we have to hold our hands up to it because we should have planned here. We should have got someone in. So I think that we're as culpable as anyone else because if you give someone that leeway. So I think obviously Davies the gaffer, you've got to trust in him, but I don't think he'll do what he did to Alex. As I say, it's Alex slapping at PSG, probably the second wealthiest club in the world. So this is a team. I mean, this is how powerful PSG are. They've said to Barcelona, if you try and think of taking Thiago Silva from us, we will exercise Lionel Messi's buyout bid. Don't think we won't. 200 million euros or 200 million pounds, we'll do it. Try us. See if we're kidding. So for me, I think that would be an interesting thing, really. And I don't see him starting. Is it a freeze out? I don't know. I've got trust in the gaffer, really. Who knows? Adebayor, if he wins, and he'll go in there. And obviously he's in Togo. Obviously the death of his brother. Death affects everyone in different ways. In the grieving process, as those of you may have watched the last YouTubes, it affects everyone differently. And people do forget that Adebayor did see people die in front of him. People shot dead from violent trauma. There's obviously as we commemorate, say, 9/11, I think there's, death is inevitable when you get natural causes, illness, disease. But when people die as a result of violent trauma that you're a witness to, that's going to affect you no matter what happens. And people say, oh yeah, but he went to a year later, he went to Real Madrid, he did well, and he came to us for a season, did really, really well, and then suddenly you give him his contract. Football's a very fragile thing. Your ability to perform, talent under pressure, is a miracle. Loads of things can affect it. Your mind may not be right, this may not be right. Just change your circumstances. Obviously, when you're paid about 170 grand a week, you're kind of asked to ignore a lot of that stuff. But I think a good Adebayor coming in, say, on maybe November time when the games do come thick and fast, November, Christmas time, games come thick and fast. I'm hoping that I don't know, he can really show us that talent that he's obviously capable of. Speaking of talented, capable players, a player that obviously kind of slipped in the radar so much that even AVP forgot his name, Christian Eriksen. Um, Very, very talented guy. He was a player that when we were obviously when Luka Modric left, we were linked with a whole bunch of players. Matinho obviously was the most obvious prominent one. Isco and Eriksen. Obviously, Matinho has gone to the wealth of Monaco. Isco's obviously gone to Real Madrid, biggest club in Spain. Eriksen came to us, and they'll say, well, wait, and people are questioning it, saying, well, you know what, we were linked with him. He was also linked with Borussia Dortmund, and his former coach, a guy called Flemin Seritslev, I have no idea how you pronounce it. He said, oh, Dortmund did the right thing. They got Mkhitaryan, who from Shakhtar Donetsk, much better player, and probably maybe one's 24, the other's 21. He's 3 years more, 3 years more ahead in his career. They said, "Oh, this is the best play." Yeah, maybe. And Eriksen himself said, "You know what? Yeah, Dortmund were interested. I was one of many that they contacted. It didn't happen." Will he motivate non-plus? I think he seems like a humble guy. He said, "Look, they were in there for me. They asked. Didn't happen. I'm here now." Will he be motivated? Like, oh, that person. I don't think he will be. I don't know if he will or not. I think someone's gone to the guy for a quote. He's given it. He's got a bit of airtime and a little bit of I don't know, grand or something. I don't know how much they paid him just to give the interview. What creates a bit of controversy? Oh, by saying that player, they did the best thing. He's not as good as the other player. I don't know. For me, I think Eriksen is someone player I'd like to start. I think Denmark played against Malta, or I can't. I don't know if they played Malta last week. They played it also again. I think they lost. I think this week, but I think they came back on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, he trained with us. Yeah, as much. I think more than say Lamela would have done. Lamela, I mean, for those you don't know, he was on the Argentine squad to face Paraguay. The Argentina blitzed the crap out of Paraguay. He didn't. Di Maria had an excellent game. He didn't start. He was on the bench, and I have no idea how far Paraguay is from the UK, but I'm guessing it's a long ass flight. So even if he came back, let's say their game was on a Wednesday about midnight, on a Wednesday morning, with the best will in the world, if he came back to us Wednesday evening, I doubt, what would they get him training? He'd be jet lagged. So chances are he'd only trained yesterday. Is it enough time? Maybe today they'd have a light session. Obviously, we're playing the next day. You don't want to do anything too heavy. I think he'll feature. I don't think he'll start. I think I think he'll be motivated of that. Nobody wants to go that far and not play. And you saw how well Di Maria is. Because this is the competition. This is the benchmark. I think Di Maria is a very motivated player, considering that Gareth Bale could take his place, and he's going to show what he can do for Argentina. And he's motivating. He's got Lamela there, who's been drafted in to replace Bale. So I think it'll be an interesting series of events to see how each of those players, in terms of the starts and the form they produce. Obviously, if Bale does get his chance, I think he's not. I think obviously it's sad that he's gone, and we've kind of dealt with that. But he's going to start at left back, which is not where they signed him for. I think because Marcelo and Contra are injured, so they're going to put him in a position that he hasn't really played for a long time. And let's face it, he wasn't very good at it anyway. But we'll see how that goes. Obviously he does his rampaging once forward, but Harry, I saw him as a left back. Not really. I think it depends. You play part of the three, then you play as a wing back, flying fullbacks. But I don't know. I think it'll be very, very But Di Maria, he's got his one eye on Bale, thinking Bale can take my place. And obviously, Lamela. You're looking at old Lamela, big move to Tottenham to replace Bale. He's motivated. He obviously wants to play for Argentina. So I don't think Lamela will start purely because he just hadn't had enough time to really bed in. Obviously, I think he'll start against Tromso purely because you know, they're not going to play. I think they're on the verge of getting relegated, aren't they? So they're not going to play their weakest team. So I think I'm not saying they're going to be cans or anything, but let's face it, if we can go out there, get a good performance, just get everything working. Obviously, you'll see how good you are when you experience adversity, but if you can get everything working, get that fluidity, get that understanding, who knows? I think, for me, I think it'll be Soldado, supported by Chadley, who had a pretty decent game for Belgium, came back. I think this is a timing thing, really, because he came, I think Jan Vertonghen, I saw an interview with him on Monday, so they obviously back from there, obviously they just came back quite early. He's been in training, he's settled into the team. And I think, obviously, if I'm to Andros Townsend or Nathan Chadley, and I look on the bench and I see that's Lamela there, I've got to have a great game because they paid a lot of money for him. I've got to play a very, very good game. Otherwise, they're going to pick the 30 million pound guy over me. So I think that'll motivate both of those two players. Eriksen, he's got a lot of skill, a lot of ability. Um, I think he's very much the style of player that we've missed since losing Luka Modric. I think I think he's got elements of both Luka and Rafa. Just as I think uh, Lamela's got elements of both Gareth Bale and Rafa. I think so. I think hopefully I'd like to see us start with those three in the supporting thing. Will it be 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1? I think what he's trying to do is trying to get it interchanging. So he goes from 4-3-3. It can be 4-2-3. It can be 4-2-4. It's that fluidity. There are times in which I think, and again, this is a shout out to Spurs fanatic because he actually came. He showed. If you can't check it out, this guy is fantastic, and he showed what he thinks Eriksen will build. I think if need to, we have like a 4-1-2-3. I've never seen it really at Spurs ever play that, but literally Sandro as the deepest member of that, and it's like a reverse pyramid, you know, and that way hopefully we can get a lot of support to Soldado because he was very isolated against Arsenal. So yeah, I think it will be a 4-3-3/4-2-3-1, and I think, but we'll see it's a 4-1-2-3 where you have Paulinho and so here's say Sandro right at the base, and Paulinho and Eriksen getting forward. So I think that'll be. I think I'll definitely go for a 2-1 win. I did say a prediction league of Spurs Odyssey. I think we Lamela and Paulinho. I think it'll be Soldado and Paulinho to score goals, and I think it'll be 2-0 to us. But again, I've nothing but a huge amount of respect for Norwich. They cost us Champions League not once but twice, really. Not, no, I'm not saying they did it deliberately. They just wanted, they wanted to win or get a result, and they did. They got results, we didn't. And tomorrow it's like getting the result. I want to be at the coaching horses. We're hoping to see a few mates. You know who you are, Mr. Tippers. So yeah, the coaching horses for a little bit. Say hi to a few people, and yeah, if you can come up, sing up. I'll be wearing my Tottenham shirt, which says YouShubes or Shubman on it. And yeah, it'll be good to see you. And yeah, say hi. And as always, very happy to do this podcast. Please, thank you for all those guys in Spurs Forum. And Robert Raju, thank you for the lovely words you wrote. It was very, very touched. And yeah, we all miss him. And like I said, we're going to try and I and me and my family were very, very touched by the support, and we're going to just try and do our best to follow his example. And let's face it, that's what I like about Spurs. It's how dignified we are. Yeah, we let ourselves down. Added by the whole elephant. His mum watches elephants and all that kind of crap. I don't like that. But I don't know. Are we better or worse? I think we're guilty, but I don't know. The Arsenal fans saying shot on goal should have been you. Shot on goal should have been you. Then again, we call Arsene Wenger a paedophile. We've had our, soul, wherever you may be, on the verge of lunacy. I think most people know the rest of that. Yeah, he hurt us. Yeah, Sol Campbell did a horrible, horrible thing to us as Spurs fans. But he put his interest in professional footballer first. Not am I happy with what he did? Of course not. I'm never happy with what he did. I'll never agree with what he did. But to say the stuff like, oh, we don't give a F if you're hanging by a tree, you Judas with, that's just, oh man. And rightly some Spurs fans were censored for that. And I want to see, and hopefully so. If you say such hateful things to to a guy just doing his job, yeah, maybe against your team, but he's just doing his job. He's just a player. Then you deserve to be banned and not come to Spurs anymore. And same wise, if any other fan that says, does those things, which, let's face it, if people forget. So basically, you're gonna basically mock 6 million people, the death of 6 million people, to mock another team. Really? Classy. Anyway, thank you for watching this YouTubes. I hope you enjoy it. And again, thank you again for the support, for your support in the last week or so with passing Raju. I am running for Minds. They're a charity that deal with mental health. They say 1 in 10 people actually does suffer from depression and has had problems with emotional health. I'll admit I've had that, and that's why I do YouTubes. I've yet to heard mental this on like YouTubes. So yeah, if you'd like to sponsor it, it's I think it's Virgin Money, Virgin Money Giving. Just type in Google Virgin Money Giving Shubham. Google is one of many internet search providers. You can always use Yahoo, Bing, AltaVista. Are they still around? Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. YouShubes. Are AltaVista still around? Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, come on you Spurs.